In realizing good health, it is not only achieved through the food we eat, but also through the process of food we consume. This happens to be the view of many nutritionists, and it is also the view of Tony and Mark Allen, both of whom now reside in the highest peak of the St. Catherine Parish, Glengough. So what was it that drove these two persons to engage in such a drastic and unconventional diet?
I was very sick, and I had diabetes, and I had high blood pressure and bad arthritis and a heart condition, and you name it, and very overweight. I was 230 pounds. And a condition from the diabetes, neuropathy. I used to get numbness in my hands, my feet, my back, to the point I couldn't sleep at night. And every night I would just go on the internet trying to find remedies and what I could do. And the medicines that they were giving me weren't working. And I came across Bill Clinton. Somebody actually sent me Bill Clinton's video of how he cured his heart condition with the raw food, a plant-based diet. And I never heard of that before. I was a vegetarian from I was 4 years old, and a vegan. We've been vegans for a long time. And I never heard of a raw vegan. And I spent the entire night researching from one side of the internet to the other, world around. And I made up my mind. I stood there in tears. It was one of those moments like you get a conviction, and you know God has led you here. And I cried, and I couldn't sleep. And next morning I told Mike, I said, Mike, I'm not eating any more cooked food. Mike looked at me like, I thought he was going to think I was crazy, and he looked at me and says, I explained why. He said, that sounds like a great idea. And within 3 days, my blood pressure went from about 197 over 120 down to in the 60s 120 over 60. And I was so shocked. And I kept I had my own cuff, and every minute I'd take my blood pressure until I sent him out for batteries.
For Mark, though he found the idea an interesting one, he had a little reservation.
Well, I'm a skeptic, so I didn't believe any of this. So I watched her for 30 days as she did this. And in 22 days, when her diabetes left and no more medicine, and she was sticking her fingers, I mean, it was unbelievable to me. I really felt like this was God's last diet, so especially if we can learn what to eat in the wild, you know.
So, with no more cooked food,
I eat everything vegetable-wise that can be eaten raw. And one of the things that a gift I was given immediately is how to prepare it. I make the most delicious dishes. And I did it around Christmas time. When I first started, my friends and neighbors would come by and they'd say, what is this? I'd make puddings for them. I'd say, it's raw. And they'd say, you're kidding me. And even my sorrel, I blended the sorrel instead of drawing it as we do here in Jamaica. And everything was delicious. And the commitment really came when, like Mike's saying, after 22 days, my diabetes went from 455 down to about 70. And then I started seeing myself losing weight. All these things were happening effortlessly and rapidly, and I got energy where I couldn't even walk up the steps. And I used to walk with a stick. And I found myself, I said, am I really getting all this energy? And I would walk up and down the roads, and I would run sometimes and just get stronger and stronger. And I thought, this is the best thing. I just felt so blessed. God, you have, people would look at me and they couldn't even recognize me. People would see me who've known me for years, say, I didn't know it was you, you know?
the age-old belief, let your food be your medicine, is one of the philosophies of the Allens.
The principle behind raw food is that God made every fruit and vegetable with an enzyme. That your body, for example, when you get a cut, you see it heal, every 30 days your body replenishes every single cell. And what it uses to replenish your cell is the fuel you put in it. And it's not just the minerals and the vitamins. There's an enzyme in every piece of fruit or vegetable that when you heat it over 118 degrees, it dies. That enzyme is no longer, it's dead. That enzyme is what your body needs to heal itself. When Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food, he meant it. Because food can cure you. Not the food itself, but your body can cure itself, and it's designed, that's how God designed us, to cure ourselves.
Nature, the kind experienced in the Glengough Mountains, is a sure contributor to one's good health. These areas are usually the source of fresh air, natural springs, and a wide range of fruits and vegetables. Because our bodies are the temple of the Lord, we must always be mindful of the things we consume. I am Chantal Allen, helping to keep our communities connected.